Hello and welcome to our Real Estate Climate segment. It's now my extreme pleasure to introduce a familiar face to strategies for real estate, Kelly Hunt from CSR.
Hi, Dan.
Hello, Kelly. Great to have you on the show again.
I'm happy to be back again.
And it's always nice to have you on because you were just a wealth of information.
Well, thank you. I hope so.
Yes, and I understand you brought some visual tools for us with regard to what's happening in the Santa Clara County, and as that gets prompted up and ready to be displayed. What's going on in Santa Clara County? I mean, inventories are falling to record lows, or at least some recent historic lows anyway, yeah?
Yes, it's true. If you look at the statistics, right now the overall active inventory, meaning homes available for people to actually put an offer in on, is about a 6-year low right now, just in general, broadly, county-wide.
Right.
Different areas will have different statistics, but overall the inventory is very, very low, especially for this time of year.
Yes, exactly. It seems a little early to have this type of inventory reduction happen.
Right, yeah. And that, I'm sorry, that's why I brought the stats, is because I think it's just visually, it helps people understand. I mean, you hear the inventory is low. So what I did is I have a statistic here, a graph, for what we call the single family total inventory. And this is actually a full year at a glance. So this was March of last year, and this is March of this year. And as you can see, last year we had about 5,100 homes on the market, and now we have less than 4,000 homes on the market. Now, total inventory actually includes active and pending, okay? They haven't closed escrow. This is a graph of what's actually active, and you can see that even though inventory is not, has been going up slightly, you'll see that the actual active inventory is staying flat or dropping. So what's happening is homes are going on the market, and they're actually coming off the market just as fast. So, you know, once you put a house on the market, as long as it's priced well and shows well, it's typically going to sell within a couple of days, if not a week.
Yeah, it's just remarkable. The consistent theme I get week over week now from the guests that come on, the realtors that come on and talk on my Real Estate Climate segment, is that theme that inventories are falling.
Right.
It's a great market for sellers, and buyers need to be ready, prepared, be flexible,
right,
and get aggressive if they find a house that they want to buy.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a frenzy that's starting to develop, which has happened in the past. It's at some point buyers tend to panic. They see that the market has kind of changed a little bit, and they start to panic, and they get worried that they're not going to be able to get in before the market's out of their price range.
Right.
So then everybody jumps off the fence at the same time. However, at this time of year, we usually see the inventory going up because school's getting ready to let out. But we have not seen that happen to that degree this year. So between the demand from the buyers and the low inventory, lack of sellers, it's created quite the frenzy. So we're seeing multiple offers again, and it's very competitive. First-time home buyers are having a difficult time sometimes getting into contract. So you really have to be strategic about the way you go about purchasing a home right now.
Right, right. Emotion drives so much in all of our behavior.
Right.
And it seems like it may be driving a lot of this, but there are some real technical elements that are happening as well. Rates are still very low, and I think people are thinking, well, I don't know how much longer these rates are going to stay down.
Correct, yeah.
And I think as many of our viewers have heard me say in recent weeks, it seems like that people are recognizing that values aren't falling anymore. The waiting for the lowest low is months behind us.
Right, and part of that is because of the media. I think people don't realize when they're hearing statistics, even if you're listening to the Mercury News, it can give national statistics and people to assume that that's what's occurring here. And that's not really what's occurring here. So they need to really pay attention to the statistics here. But I think buyers are starting to catch on that we hit bottom quite some time ago, and if they don't jump on the bandwagon, quite frankly, they may miss the boat.
Right.
So
what is typical in offers that are being submitted on contracts? I mean, or on a home that's listed, is it 2, 3, or is it up to 10, 15? I mean, I guess it depends on the quality of the house.
It depends on the quality of the home and how the listing agent and seller decided to market that property. And that's part of what's unfortunate right now with this market, is that you have listing agents and sellers that will list a property well below market, and their purpose is to drive in that demand and get 10, 15, 20 offers. The unfortunate part is a lot of buyers actually write offers on those properties and are really never going to have an opportunity to get into the game.
Right.
But we are commonly seeing 3, 5, 10 offers just on average or more on any given property.
In a more typical, well-priced or more
Yeah.
appropriately priced home.
Your typical 3-2 starter home, but even up into the multi-million-dollar range, there's been all cash offers, multiple offers. It's across the board right now. So overall, everybody's having to compete.
Evidently, there was just a lot of people on the sidelines waiting
were.
for what's now happening to happen, and now they're saying, okay, let's.
They all jumped
the
off at the
water's
same
warm.
time.
Let's jump in and have some fun.
Yeah.
All right. So but what are you seeing with respect to this decreased supply, what it's having as far as an effect on values on property?
Well, of course, it's the supply versus demand. So we don't have a lot of supply and we have a large demand. So we're starting to see the home prices climb quicker than we have the last couple of years. We have been on a mild kind of upward trend. We have our seasonal dips, but those aren't necessarily a trend in the market. It's just a little bit of a seasonal dip.
Right.
But overall, the trend we see right now is starting to pick up. So what you're going to find is that a buyer will see a home, they write an offer, I don't think I want to pay that much. Then they realize that, okay, that's what it's going to take to get that property. And then the next one that comes out on the market is going to be possibly, 2, 3, 4, 5% more, if not more than that. And so they're going to see that it's going to be that leapfrog. They're going to have to keep paying more money to get the same amount of house.
So I guess the theme of what you're saying is, if you see a house you like, be aggressive.
Take it off the market. You need to write an offer and get it off the market. Yeah, basically.
And for some buyers or potential buyers listening to us, well, that's easy for you two to say. I mean, you're not the one making the house payment.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
But keep in mind, every $1,000 is $5 more to you in a monthly payment.
Absolutely. I mean, if they can wait 3 or 4 weeks and see what happens, or see if there's more inventory that comes on, but they could lose 5% in that amount of time. The market can climb fairly quickly when it's this type of market condition. So if they see a property that will work and it's in the area that they want or the school district that they're looking for, then they should really jump on the opportunity. I don't see things dropping in the future, so I don't think time is on their side.
I would agree with that. And evidently, with what we're both talking about, the impact for a buyer is you're going to end up paying more for a home next door to the one you missed.
Right, exactly. Later down the road, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, if a house picks you, get aggressive and get it.
That's right.
Truly. So why should sellers, I mean, it seems pretty obvious if someone's thinking about selling, that this is a pretty prime time to consider it.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of sellers have quite caught on to what's going on. I think they're still kind of waiting on the sidelines thinking, I'm never going to get what I want for my home. Or you have a lot of sellers that have been kind of waiting for the market to go up so that they're not in an underwater situation. They don't want to do a short sale. Right. So I think it's important, though, to kind of really pay attention to what's going on in the market, because they may already be at that point, or it will be very quickly. So I think it's important for sellers to talk to agents sooner than later, find out what they need to do to prepare their home to get it on the market. Even though it is a bit of a seller's market right now, it's still important to prep that property so that it's pretty much turnkey. I mean, that's really how you're going to get the most money for your, most value for your home, is if you have it in a situation where somebody can come in, move right in. If they want to do upgrades later down the road, they can. But as long as they can move in comfortably, then that property is going to appeal to more buyers, and you're going to have more offers and get a better value.
And that's where the counsel of a strong, solid listing agent can help them make their house ready to sell.
Absolutely. And you don't want to spend money on something that's really not going to be important to a buyer or will not bring you more value. I had some sellers, we took the time to do some improvements to the home. They spent about $10,000, but they got, in that amount of time, they got an additional $50,000 from the last comps of a similar home. So.
And we just have a bit of time, but I think as values begin to escalate, I think we're going to run into that issue of the struggle for appraisers to give us value. And so it's going to be, and we've had this happen. Right. It's
usually
many
the first sales out the gate when we have a real upward trend. Those first sales don't have any comparable sales in the last 3 months that support that value. So it's really important as an agent to make sure you're providing comps for those appraisers. So.
And it just goes back to working with competent people,
exactly,
as you are. So
well, thank you.
Again, thanks for being on our program, and we look forward to having you on soon.
Thank you.